Now here, bring you the 31st installment of GATFAQ. GATFAQ, no match their fanbase a question. And today, I got a lot of answers. So, yeah, this last time I asked a question which was relatively straightforward, so I probably wasn't going to ask it otherwise, but I'm glad I did because I got a lot of good answers, and a lot of stutters right there. I asked, what's your least and favorite, and by that I mean least favorite and favorite, episodes of Among Us Logic, and here are your answers. I just recorded that entire intro in one take, so I'm just going to dive into the answers before I run out of air. Episode 20 was definitely a pretty mediocre episode, I agree. The Mr. Cheese Hater argument for this episode is valid. For a Mr. Cheese Hater, I thought you'd have 17 as a least favorite episode. Because, that's the entire episode revolving around him for no reason. The hailing obviously was annoying, though. It was not very worthy of the phrase, "Hail yeah!" Obviously, the quality of Among Us Logic has had a lots of ups and downs. Right now it's in the middle of an up, I'd say, but that's obviously just my opinion. Anything after episode 7 sucking, though, that just seems a little harsh, as I already said. They've had some wonky qualities, but they've gone up, not just down. Obviously, that's entirely opinionated, but obviously, I've said obviously too much, so I'm obviously just going to move on. 10 definitely doesn't hold up very well, and I agree that player losing here was especially stupid, even more so than usual. It was passable, but it was still really annoying as always. Mr. Cheese just being a stereotypical movie villain is obviously horrible character development for him, but Poopy Farts' thing here was just, meh, I don't really care that much. I agree that No Fights for the Final Chapter was a great episode, and you have pretty similar reasons to why as I do. However, 13 being the worst of every episode? Yeah, I definitely disagree with that. I just found it a pretty good episode. Yes, it does have Not Orange, but sometimes it's good to have an unlikable character. Blue is a likable character because he's unlikable, so I definitely agree with him returning as a negative. Although, obviously, this is entirely my opinion, so I'm just disagreeing with you. Blue isn't even unlikable in my opinion anyway, so I'm also disagreeing with myself. Among Us Logic 5 is my favorite episode, and Among Us Logic 15's plot twist is definitely underrated, although it definitely falls under 5's. 5's was just really, really well done. The criticism on Dragon Mod makes perfect sense, and I agree with a lot of it. The why hasn't the game ended argument isn't even something I thought of when making my opinions video on that video, but yeah, I agree. Even as someone who hasn't watched Star Wars, The Last Crewmate was definitely a good episode, and I'm glad the Game Tunes has kept their streak of making good episodes for 2 episodes now. A mentality I have when it comes down to the current break Among Us Logic is on is that if it's necessary for the quality uploads to keep being quality, then yeah, definitely take the break. It's been confirmed that every old character that doesn't get a lot of attention will be getting some more attention, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I've already talked about Among Us Logic 13 in this video, but I'll talk some more about it now. Only player being set to the cheese lobby is definitely annoying and confusing, but it is something fun to ponder about sometimes, so that's a pretty weird compliment, but basically it's just fun to come up with headcanons for that sort of stuff, in my opinion. Although it is nice to have explanations too. That's obviously good, if not preferable. I do not know why I'm talking so slow, but now I'll talk more about episodes. Among Us Logic 1 was definitely a good introduction to the series, and Mr. Cheese was at his peak in some of the earlier episodes. Just maybe not that early. I liked him in 5 to 8 most. Although Game Toad's not knowing how to develop his character does lead to some moments which call back to his character there. And behind the Mr. Cheese plot twist in episode 5, Among Us Logic 1's stoner plot twist was definitely the best of the series. Well, obviously second best, but you know what I mean. I do like when Captain's character doesn't focus entirely on player in episodes, but when it's actually handled decently, it's a cool part of his character to see unfold. And I've actually got a video planned on the driving force that kind of destroyed that, and why that driving force destroying that shouldn't have destroyed that, because I have strong negative opinions on that aforementioned force. Not liking Among Us Logic 14 is obviously very valid, although I did find it, passable episode, and Miss Pink should go burn in a fire of hell. Although the Cheers lobby sort of is like a hell, so just send her to double hell just in case. I literally just gave you my opinions on Among Us Logic 1, so I'll just skip that part. I thought the voices just being more high-pitched version of the regular ones was a little lazy, but it functioned. And Dumb Almost Getting Killed was quality comedy. I feel like Dumb, behind Mr. Cheese, obviously, is one of the characters that's getting completely mishandled by Game Tunes, so Almost Getting Killed is probably good comeuppance for that. I've already talked about Never as the final chapter in this video, so I'll ignore that part too. But I agree that 17 taking place only like 10% in the game of an actual Among Us was definitely annoying and the reason why it's my least favorite episode. Among Us Logic 8 was a good video. I agree with a lot of points made. It has a solid roster of characters, a good opening with Mr. Egg's song, although it is kind of annoying that they didn't give credit to the actual person who, made the song. And I agree that I made my account around the time it came out, like the day after. Check the release date of my first video. I perfectly agree with all the Among Us Logic 17 hates, but, I've already discussed that a lot, so I'll just move on to the Among Us Logic 14 stuff. Sir Claus was good. End of talk, moving on. Aside from me disagreeing with what you said about No Visor 4, I agree with everything on this comment. So I'm not really going to talk about it. This is already, way too long of a video, so I'm just going to end it now. The moment you've all been waiting for, Yay!